I'm not convinced that this game didn't have two completely different teams. In fact, you know what? I'm sure it did. Because there's no way the people who wrote the story and the dialogue are the same people who did anything else that makes up this crap game. It's Barnyard Blast! Swine of the Night. It's like if Shakespeare wrote a story for Flappy Bird. So, I mean, listen, if you play enough video games, just looking at the box gives you a pretty good idea what's going on inside the box. So, I mean, dumb name, terrible character design, and a publisher that mostly does budget titles. Yeah, safe to say my sights were set on crap for Barnyard Blast. Then I loaded it up and wait, nope, no, everything still looked like shit. But then I got to the story, and it's actually hilarious, and the writing's good, and I was like, wait a minute, could this be like the Rain Man of video games? Like, it just looks slow, but then, you know, it's actually hanging out with Valeria Golino. She was like crazy hot in the 80s, guys. Worth a Google. So you get to the game and you find out, okay, more promise. It's a 2D shooter, which is a good start. But in just a few seconds, you realize, no way this game's hanging out with a sexy Italian movie star, because it plays like spaghetti you left in the pot, all hard and stale. Barnyard Blast is trying to be old school, but it's just old and hard and stale. I guess for me, the first problem is that Barnyard Blast doesn't seem to know what made those classic 2D shooters so good in the first place. It just throws a bunch of enemies at you, but you only have like 2 guns, and they both suck. The enemies just come out of the ground and swarm you, sometimes right where you're standing, so not only is it boring, but it's also cheap. It's like, you know, just being 2D and being a shooter doesn't make you Contra. But like I said, this game has a lot of the elements that should make a good game. They're not good. Like, it's 2D, but it's not very pretty. And it's a shooter, but it's repetitive, and there's not enough awesome weapons. And you get slammed with enemies, right? But they're never interesting. They're just a pain in the ass, because your weapons suck. You're overpowered from the start, and overwhelmed by boredom. This is a boring level, for example. I guess the most interesting thing is that you have this magic meter, basically, and you can use special items that drain that meter. Like, one item restores health over time, for example, which sounds cool, but actually using it is a pain in the ass as well. You can't pause and equip something, you have to do it on the fly, which isn't easy because you're always swarmed. Still, it's one thing about this game that is actually kind of interesting. The rest is just old news, but like bad news. You know, Barnyard Blast has its heart in the right place, and its story and writing are legitimately fun. They're actually well done. But everything else just kind of sucks. Character design is as lame as the level design, the gameplay is boring and it never evolves, the graphics and music are just, it's all sort of average. I mean, Barnyard Blast may be inspired by the classics, but the game is, itself, completely uninspired. Thanks to Brett from Pleasant View, Tennessee, for sending it in.